Hello, this is Kobe White and my partner Carolyn Lee, and today we are speaking on the Inside the MediBank data breach of 2022. Today we will be discussing the target of the attack, the attacker's objective, and the attack methods that were being used. Also, the impact of the breach, mitigation and response, and the references that we were using. This attack targeted MediBank, a health company that is committed to creating better health for better lives by providing the best health and well-being experience for people across Australia. As one of Australia's biggest health insurance providers, the company holds information that includes personal identifiable information and protect health information. On October 13, 2022, MediBank detected some unusual activity on its internal system and was contacted on October 17th by the attackers to negotiate their alleged removal of customer data. On November 7th was when MediBank revealed that the attackers gained unauthorized access to and stole the data of 9.7 million past and present customers. Allegedly, the attack aimed to take advantage of MediBank commodity of choice, a vast database containing customer medical histories, diagnoses, and treatments, which is highly prized on the black market. The stolen data included names, addresses, diagnoses, and health procedures, often information used for identity theft and financial fraud. Targeting MediBank also brought reputational risks because MediBank carried so much sensitive data, the leak of which could tarnish public trust and the company's capacity to protect sensitive information. Because of this irreversible personal information stored within their large data sets, healthcare organizations such as MediBank are attracted targets compared to financial data that can be reset or canceled. The attackers also specifically target MediBank large client bank base, hoping to hit a high ransom value to represent potential harm to the plaid contacts. A breach with medical data would have horrified MediBank customers and put pressure on the company to pay up to satisfy the ransom demands of the attackers, who knew a breach in the area would trigger panic and urgency in the organization and its customers. With this, the size of the data, and the reputation of MediBank sought to be an ideal target per the attacker objectives.
The MediBank attackers did it for financial gain and as part of a double extortion strategy. MediBank confirms that the attackers stole personal information, encrypted their systems, and held MediBank to ransom, demanding payment to prevent the data from being released and to return systems to working order. The attackers threatened to leak personal and medical information if MediBank didn't comply. On November 9th, 2022, as MediBank had not paid the attackers began to release the data in files labeled Good List and Naughty List for people based on medical conditions such as HIV, mental health issues, and abortion procedures. Their goal was to force MediBank to pay by causing them to feel urgency over what is essentially permanent damage in the public's mind. Strategically, targeting health data was practical, given its high value on the black market, and exposure would have dire emotional, legal, and financial consequences for individuals. The attackers wanted to put customers and MediBank at risk of reputational harm, legal fallout, and privacy violations to force a ransom payment. It aimed to disrupt MediBank's business as much as possible and make as much of the sensitive personal health data as possible. What the attackers ultimately wanted to do was try to extort money by weaponizing sensitive information and using information about MediBank's customer base as a bargaining chip. MediBank's CEO David Koczela told Australia's ABC that unusual activity inside its systems started on October 13, 2022. It was unclear exactly how the attackers entered, but likely phishing emails sent to employees that fooled them into disclosing their login credentials were used. It worked because it employed human error to overcome security defenses. Once they had found their way inside, they utilized lateral movements to explore MediBank's network, punching past one access point to reach sensitive databases. This stealthy lateral movement of the attacker can traverse the system from one department to another to find high-value data like patient records, diagnosis, and medical procedures. MediBank then collected this data, and the attackers were able to encrypt particular network parts so that MediBank couldn't see that information. This disruption was part of their double extortion strategy. MediBank was locked out of the data and threatened to release it publicly unless the company paid a ransom to them. Something that was technically simple but tactically brilliant. It hit MediBank's most critical data to maximize the ability to leverage. The breach exposed weaknesses in MediBank's security practices and showed that the attackers could penetrate vulnerable parts via standard, powerful attack techniques. This massive breach impacted 9.7 million MediBank customers. In particular, PII and medical information had been stolen, with details such as if someone was HIV positive, had a mental health condition, or had undergone an abortion procedure. Since such sensitive information was leaked, people expressed concern that customers were worrying about identity theft, fraud, and social stigma. MediBank also hit its reputation and lost public trust, fueling questions over whether the company could adequately protect confidential data after the attack. MediBank would face legal action or even hefty fines if they weren't able to meet data protection laws by keeping data about customers during its breach. Furthermore, the breach negatively impacted the company's business and involved a significant expenditure of their resources, such as installing IT security controls, conducting outreach to customers, and managing investigations and remediation matters. Given that such data was leaked, it was difficult to contain, and once medical data was out there, there was very little recourse for the affected individuals. All of this caused customers to be anxious and damaged the organization's reputation. At the same time, the breach also showed weakness in MediBank's cybersecurity system, and the company had taken steps to rethink internal security procedures. The attack caused substantial financial loss, legal issues, and long-term reputation damage, amplifying the importance of strong data protection in healthcare. Cybersecurity experts and law enforcement agencies recommended that MediBank didn't pay the ransom. Rather than beginning efforts to repair the damage, the company hired cybersecurity experts to figure out what happened and to control the fallout. A spokesperson for MediBank said it notified relevant authorities and affected customers immediately and was being transparent in communicating with authorities. The company advised customers to check their accounts and guard against identity theft. MediBank said law enforcement and the FBI were closely partnered with MediBank and assisted in locating the attackers and thwarting further exploitation of the stolen data. As noted, MediBank started internally improving its security protocols by reviewing the system and looking for and fixing vulnerabilities. One of these improvements was strengthening access controls and deploying advanced tools that can pick up where the next threat is hiding. During the process, MediBank promised it would be transparent, informing customers as it did during the investigation and a continuing effort to rebuild trust. MediBank showed how they minimized the attacker's leverage on the organization by preventing the problem or mitigating its impact instead of paying the ransom.